Okay, so this is our moisture analyzer. So the first thing you do with this is just hit the on button and it will bring it right up. So then after this, you're immediately ready to start tests unless the machine has been unplugged. If it's been unplugged, you have to wait 30 minutes for it to thermally stabilize first. So then before you do anything else, you want to double check the little air bubble it's got right here to check that it's level. That needs to be in the middle of the black circle. If it's not, you can adjust the leveling with the red circles on all the feet. So then it does pretty much everything for you. We're going to test today all this 3D printer filament, find out how much water is inside all of that. So we're going to go to method library and we're going to make our own test for this. So you can see you can do that manually or using the smart guide. With the smart guide, it'll help you choose all the parameters. So you can see I can use a reference moisture value. Based on my other tests, I know that filament has about a 0.1% moisture value. So now you can see it's recommending a heating temperature 200 degrees Celsius and a start weight of about 5 grams. Now we're going to do something a bit different because 200 Celsius is a bit closer to the melting point of the plastic. So obviously there might be some thermal decomposition, and we'll create our own setup like this. We'll just give it a name filament. So we'll set a drying temperature of 160 to try and avoid any other thermal decomposition with the plastic. We just want to get rid of the water. So after we choose the temperature, we want to choose a drying program. Standard is useful for most samples. Fast is useful if your sample contains a lot of moisture, and it will heat it up very quickly at the beginning to get rid of the moisture more quickly and then bring it back down to a lower temperature so that it doesn't damage your sample. Ramp moves up slowly and steps moves in steps to the final temperature. Since switch off criterion is when it'll turn itself off, so you can do time, just set a time. Then this one, A30, will turn it off once the rate is below 1 milligram lost every 30 seconds. So this is for something that dries very quickly. So A60 is kind of your normal one. A90, 1 milligram every 90 seconds, is for samples that dry very slowly. And the 3 milligrams per second will do an average. Once it hits a rate below this average rate, then it'll turn off. And you can do that in terms of milligrams or in terms of the percentage. So you're going to go with this one. Then you can also switch which measurement it will display, but you can also cycle through these during the test. Start weight, you can set a specific start weight, and then starting mode, we can just do automatic. You would switch this to manual if you have something you need to do to prepare your sample after the initial weighing. So we just hit save. You can see right here, here's our test. So we can click it to look at it, all the settings. Then we hit load to load that test. So now to start, all we do is open this up and you just follow the instructions here. So we're going to get our sample pan from this drawer. And we're just going to set that on these 3 prongs here that holds the sample. So once it's good on there, we close the cover and it will tear itself automatically with the pan. So then we open it again to add our sample. This little tab here, we can use it to take out the sample pan off the instrument to make sure nothing falls down. So now we want to make sure it's evenly distributed. If your sample's not evenly distributed, you might burn one part and not get all the moisture out of another part. So then once it looks distributed as well as you can to get good thermal contact, you can just use this to set it back in there. Make sure this grabber part is in this little notch here. So once that's set there, we can close this and it will start drying. It will start the test automatically. There's a little halogen lamp right there, and we'll use that to shine a bunch of IR radiation onto this to heat it up very quickly. So then we just close that and it will start drying. See, it'll usually do a negative 0.01% moisture content at the beginning. That's not a problem. It'll fix itself as it starts the test. So then you can see up here at the top vent, it's a very bright glow from the lamp. And then it will just run until it reaches the end criteria. It shows all the settings of the method up here, the drying temperature, what kind of program it is, and the switch off criteria. So once it finishes, this will turn green and it'll give you a nice sound effect. So to this is what you chose for display for the method. This is moisture content, that means it's 0.15% water. You can also switch to a graph just by tapping on it, like that. Then right over here you can see the temperature. To do another trial after this has to get back below 40 degrees Celsius. And right here it shows you how long it took. So then once we've got that done here, we can hit this one here, the little notepad and pencil for results. So it'll first ask us for a method. You can find our hair filament, and I'll show you all the tests with that method. We select the test we want to export. You can see data here. We can hit curve to look at the curve. We can delete it here. We can also export it with this button. We can give it a name and location. It can save up to 1,000 tests within the machine itself. But to save your own test, you want to put into a USB into one of these ports back here. Then when I click location and show the USB as an option, and put that there. Here's all our old data. And hit OK, export. Then once it says export completed, I can take this out. So then obviously it's heated up, so I want to be careful about taking my sample back out. See, it's still at about 100 degrees, so it's still quite hot. It'll cool off faster if we open this up. So then also, this button here is for printing. We don't have a printer connected to this, so it's not useful. This one button will tear it if for some reason you do not, if for some reason you need to tear it, that's not already covered by the manual option, by the automatic option. And this here is to cancel a test. So to take this out, once it's reasonably cooled off, you just do that and set it down. Okay. That goes back in there. Just be careful to use gloves when you're handling everything that goes inside, because finger oil will get in the way of your moisture calculations. And you can see it, because it's automatic, it's already assumed we're doing another one. So just be careful when you're opening and closing it, because it will automatically start new methods while you're doing that. So then once you're done, you can just go ahead and press the power button, hit OK, and it will turn off.